My name is Jared Talbot, and today we're going to be talking about the art of negotiation. I've done a lot of negotiating in the business that I'm in. I put together festivals, open air festivals, and I also do talent buying for clubs and venues. So a lot of times I have to do negotiating with musicians or any other kind of entertainment perspective. So negotiating is kind of something that I use on a day-to-day basis. Uh, Negotiation is a necessary evil in many facets of life. It's an art form that most avoid because it can be uncomfortable and cause stress. When executed properly, though, it's a tool that is truly indispensable throughout your whole life. A lot of people want to know what negotiation is and what forms there are. In definition, negotiation is discussion aimed at reaching an agreement. We use negotiation tactics every day, whether they are voluntary or involuntary. Involuntarily, as parents, we use them to get our children to do the things we need them to do without having to get into a tantrum or fit throwing escapade. Voluntarily, we use them at work to broker deals, sell houses or cars. And we utilize them on the opposite side of these transactions as buyers also. We use negotiation tactics to settle differences. If we have a problem or discrepancy concerning an issue, we use negotiation to diffuse the situation and reconcile with the other party. If we are working on, say, a group project and some members feel as if they're carrying a heavier load than the other members, a negotiation is begun to determine how the workload should be distributed. We would most likely have some back and forth between the contributing parties, until we reach an agreement of terms that's comfortable for everybody. The more common concept that comes to mind when negotiation is mentioned is business negotiation. Buying and selling is negotiating at its finest. All goods, or services for that matter, have a price attached to them, and this price is the first thing that a buyer is acknowledging before any other factor. They want the price to be in their wheelhouse before any other topic is considered. Take buying a car, for example. When a person walks into the dealership, the salesperson greets them, and so begins the process of buying and selling. After pleasantries are passed and the vehicle of choice is found, the negotiations begin. The seller wants to receive the most nominal price possible, while the buyer, of course, wants the most affordable. They'll negotiate back and forth, giving valid points of worth for their price until a final cost of sale is met. The rest of my speech will lean more toward this type of negotiation, but of course that doesn't mean that these key factors are not relevant to the other type. It'll also be geared to both the buyer and the seller rather than just being specific for one or the other. Now, what we're gonna be talking about 5 keys of great negotiating. Of course, there are more than just these 5, but I could go on 15 or 20 good ones, but we're just going to focus on these 5 because it's a short video. The first one is researching and having knowledge of your topic. If you are going to buy a car, look at the current market and see what the asking price for said vehicle is in your area at multiple dealers. Look at the features that are available on other makes and models so that you can compare them amongst themselves. Compare one to the other. Whether you are a buyer or seller, educating yourself on the product of interest will make you a better negotiator when trying to finalize the deal by giving you a better understanding of its market value. Second point, make your offer with confidence. I can't tell you how many times I've seen negotiations go lopsided one way due to one party not believing in their offer's worth. If you have educated yourself on your product, you should be able to confidently stand behind the offer you are putting on the table. Voice inflection, up and down, eye contact, looking them directly in the eye when you're speaking to them, and body language are all key elements in showing confidence in your bid. Be assertive. Do not falter or shy away from what you bring to the table. Say it with authority. I never use terms like how about or do you think leading into my offers. This may give the opposing party the assumption that you are not fully confident in what you are proposing, and they may stand firm in their bid without room for further negotiation. Point number 3, silent. The word silent and the word listen, oddly enough, share the same letters. It's easier to listen to what the other party is offering if you are not controlling the entirety of the conversation with your own interests. By listening to what your negotiating partner is saying, you can learn a lot about what is expected from you and your offer. This is especially helpful insight if you were to make the initial offer. For some people that may have eruptive mouth syndrome, as I like to call it, this can also be a good practice to keep from giving away too much information from your own end, thereby leaving money on the table. Point number 4, knowing your target price and walkaway terms. Extremely important point. Having an idea of what you are going to ask for if you're the seller or how much you want to spend if you're the buyer are pretty easy terms to acquire. After all, it's the whole reason for the meeting, right? That being said, target price isn't as much of an issue as is the walkaway term. Setting up a hard walkaway term for yourself can be a key to staying in the black. If you say, I will not accept or spend lower than X amount to yourself, and sticking to that figure can help you to be a stronger negotiator. You will always try to keep and close the figures as far away from your walkaway term as possible to reach the best nominal figure in the end. Our last point, walk the line. Finding the line between being overly dominant or overly submissive in the negotiation is extremely important. It is a narrow path to walk, but it is extremely detrimental in brokering the best deal for yourself. If you push too hard, you may spook your partner and send them running for the hills out of fear that maybe they're getting a raw deal or that doing future business with you would become difficult. If you lay back and allow the other person to control the negotiation, you may find yourself on the short end of the stick at the end, going home with a deal that is less than appealing. In closing, we recognize that using negotiation tactics many times throughout our everyday lives to broker the best deal for ourselves in situations that may arise. If you utilize these 5 simple tactics while negotiating, you'll see a tremendous difference in your outcome. Like I said, my name is Jared. I hope this video helped you some next time you have to negotiate something.